Greed and perversion are the primary underlying causes of trafficking and sexual exploitation of girls, with 71% of trafficking victims around the world being women and girls. What can be done to reduce this menace in the society? Today, a woman tells us what she does with vulnerable girls. You don't want to miss today's show. Hello and welcome everyone to the Moment Show with Pastor FUNKE. It is so nice that to have you joining us. We're happy to see you, and also we're happy to welcome the audience to the Moment Studio. Over the past 10 years, there has been an increase in the amount of attention on the issues that matter to the girl-child education amongst governments, policymakers, and even the general public, as well as more opportunities being given to girls to have their voices heard on the global stage. Unfortunately, there are still many girls being left out of this process. Today, I have with me in the studio a woman who is passionate about promoting girl-child development here in Nigeria. Abigail Ekotiene is a girls and young women's coach. She's the founder of Girls Impact Network, an organization focused on improving the quality of life of young women and girls in Africa through mentorship, advocacy, and media literacy. Abigail is also a television producer and presenter of a syndicated women's talk show called Living the Life, which is seen in over 100 countries. She's committed to using the power of the media to improve women by giving them a voice and a platform to share their struggles and triumphs. Studio audience, please welcome Abigail Ekotiene to the show. Hello. Hello, Abigail. You are welcome to the Moment Show with Pastor FUNKE.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, the pleasure is ours, and it's wonderful to see you. It's been quite a while.
Yes, I know the last time we had 2 sessions with you, and I was like, okay, I should come over and also visit.
Absolutely, and we're very, very happy that you've come.
Thank you.
Right, so Abigail, I wanted to know, how long have you been in this path of advocating for the young child, the girl child, and what led you down this path?
Thank you so much. It's been 10 years since I started working with the girl child. And we actually started with 4 girls.
Really?
Because I had worked as a Sunday school teacher in my church, I think about 8 years. So I was constantly interacting with these girls. But I found out that for every lesson, I mean, we teach boys. I mean, first of all, I have a boy and a girl. So I'm for the boys, I'm for the girls. But you know, girls have a unique, our own situations are kind of unique.
Absolutely.
So I noticed that after Sunday school, or even during Sunday school, it seemed like the girls had more questions. They had more, I could sense it, and then there were times they would reach out to me and ask more questions that they may not be willing to share when we're having Sunday school. And then I felt, okay, could it be possible that we could find somewhere, I mean, we could find a connecting point, maybe get some, like an after-school club, something that we can advance this conversation.
Right.
So that was the whole desire I had. And then I think it wasn't just because they were asking questions, talking about the whole journey, why I got into this. As a young girl, I believe that every girl has a father. Fathers play a very special role in the lives of their daughters.
Absolutely.
And when my father, he's late now, may he so rest in peace. Amen. When my father was alive, he was one person that helped build my self-esteem. I remember I had written something on the table somewhere in the house, and then he passed by and said, whose writing is this? Before then in school, they told me that, my friends would tell me my writing looks like, a dog's writing or whatever, like because like I don't have the best of writing, so they would just tease me. But that day, my father asked after work. He said, "Whose writing is that?" And I said, "Daddy, it's my writing." And he said, "Wow, you have a beautiful writing." That was it for me.
Absolutely.
Case closed, because even when I became an older woman, working now, I was doing my own thing. Even colleagues would still want to, this you're writing now, wow. I said, don't worry, my father thinks, and I believe you.
Absolutely.
My writing is fine. And
that settles it
that
for
settles
you.
it. So I began to realize that confidence was there.
Right.
But something happened when he died. There was a switch.
Oh, wow.
There wasn't that, okay, first of all, mommy was overwhelmed. Widow now, trying to pay school fees and all of that. So it affected my self-esteem. So it I went like kind of completely, on that too, I just kind of switched. Oh, so wow. Because I couldn't get the lifestyle, because then we had trips, he would take us around. He said, I have dreams to take you around the world. That was his dream for me. And my siblings. So that kind of affected it. Right. And so I noticed that I made so many, in fact, I had no business having relationships at my teenage years. I had no business, because now I was looking for validation. Remember, my father was always, if he was there.
Did it for you.
So, it was, in university, I could be walking and someone would say, "You've got beautiful eyes." And I would just like feel embarrassed, like, what's that? So you see the attention, it was so easy to seek for validation. And whereas I was supposed to be focusing on education. I remember one time I almost dropped out of school. I said, I want to pursue music. Like, there was no guidance, that cover.
That's so interesting that you said that. Men that have girl children, please, you don't know what you take away when you don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But realizing this, in your work, do you try to see how you can get the men involved in the lives of their children, and how critical is that when they don't?
In fact, my last recording that we had in the studio, I had to bring a guest, Ebuka, who talked about the power of fatherhood. So that is me now on that. I mean, I have, like I say, I have media, so I use that to share. So we were talking about, because we found out that most of the time we're having girl-child conversations a lot of times. And my show is just women. I hardly bring men on the show. But we just said, okay, do you know what? Men are actually allies. They're supposed to be collaborating.
Yes,
with the women. And that's why I don't like this feminism thing. I'm not a feminist. I don't really care about what their gender is, because it was supposed to be, okay, equality and all of that. But now it's turning into something else. So
we're going to actually come back to the feminism, because I have a question for you.
Good.
But what kind of problems do you find with the girls that makes them so vulnerable, or makes us so vulnerable as a gender? What kind of problems do you see?
So one of the issues I find with the girls is that lack of awareness, self-awareness, knowing who they are, their identity. So I don't just play it around and just say, oh, you're beautiful, you're brilliant. I try to take them back to the source.
Right.
So I say you are an idea from the Father's heart. God created you with a purpose. So I try to focus, especially when it says you are royalty.
Right.
You're a royal priesthood. So when I talk to them, I say, you are royalty. God had an intention. You are not something that just happened, right? So when people talk about, for example, because when the girls don't have that self-awareness, that's when this lack of self-esteem comes.
Right.
Because they are confused.
Right.
So when they say it's BBL that is happening, that's the Brazilian butt lift now.
Oh.
Yeah, so what they do, so there are three things. There are three things when I talk to the girls. There are 3 B's for the girls. There's the breast, the bottom, I think the brain. Yeah, the 3 things. Unfortunately, what I see is that the society, if you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, they are focused more on the breast and the butt.
They leave out the most important B.
Completely, I mean, they don't even remember.
Wow.
That's the issue. So that's why you just see that, okay, a young girl that is sprouting up, she's trying to flourish, is flourishing in that. In fact, I won't call it flourishing again, because at this point, all she's interested is, like, you tell them, use what you have to get what you want.
Oh.
You know, you've heard this bottom power thing. That's where the whole craze has come. So if you see a beautiful lady, she's not thinking of what other thing can I contribute? How can I bring something to the table? She's thinking about how can I
enlarge my...
Yes, from here, there, then they would now get the 500,000 wigs. So even when I hear people share that and say, look good, even the Bible talks about it. He says, let your beauty not be
of the
outward,
but this quiet,
you know, the
beauty of the
of the heart, yeah. So that is already from the beginning. That is how God wanted to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want us to take a short break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, you're going to tell us how people can do to help, what we can do to help. We'll be right back.
Dear girl child, I want to take a moment to remind you of your worth and potential. You are brave and strong, capable of achieving greatness beyond your imagination. I want you to know that your dreams and aspirations are valid, and you have every right to pursue them with confidence. Do not let anyone or anything hold you back, for the world deserves to witness the amazing person you are becoming.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Moments Show, and we are still with Abigail Okotiene, and we are talking about the girl child, not just in Nigeria, all over the world. So before we took the break, you are going to share with us what caregivers, parents, can do to help reduce the impact of the influence of social media. Let's go back to that question.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, as a caregiver or as a parent, I mean, sometimes girls are just kept in our custody, as cousins and all of that. Now, our approach, the approach matters. It's not really about not even giving phones to children, because at some point, they're going to have a phone. I mean, if they're in the university, imagine saying your daughter can have a phone at that level. So it's really not about just saying, no, like the way I said my mom was, so if I catch you, that's all. Catch you will not work in this case.
Absolutely.
It's really about having conversations. So, and why I say having conversations is that you're not ignoring the fact that there's social media, there's the existence. Because the last time I was checking something online, I think the comedy guys have started doing a skit around it. There's something they call hookup. So girls, secondary school girls are involved, plus the older younger ones. They just, there's a website they go to, they put their number and whatever, and then they connect you to someone. And all they are doing is a shower walk. They just go, they leave their house, where they go, and they go hook up. So we acknowledge the fact that these things are there. So it's not like, oh, don't go online. It will be there. Instagram will be there. They're here to stay. But this is where the caregivers come in, those conversations, like I said. And that is what I started doing with Girls Impact Network. And when the conversation starts, what we can term that conversation is mentorship.
Yeah.
Mentorship is not one big grammar. It's just guidance. It's providing direction. So these conversations come under that umbrella. So when I work with the girls, whether I'm going to schools, we just come together and have conversations. 4 pillars, about 3 pillars. We focus first, like we said, the self-esteem and identity. Have conversations. Who are you? What do you think you are about?
Right.
They begin to think deeply. The next thing we try to focus is let them pick out that number 3, which is the brain. You know, remember the breast, the butt, and the brain. We now kind of push it up now. So we say, okay, you know yourself, you're understanding who you are. Now, how can you utilize your brain? You're brilliant.
Yeah.
If you see the things these girls are doing and creating, so robotics, the last school I was in, went to, the girls and the boys, they collaborated and created robots, mini robots, in a school in Kuje.
Wow.
So that means the mind.
Yeah. They have something to offer,
They have
don't
something to offer.
It's just the opportunity,
It's just the
and
opportunity.
the education.
And the education. Then we go back to sexual reproductive health. So we're not, and I'm not out for that, going around school and sharing condoms. Why not sharing pads for free? Why are you sharing condoms?
Wow.
That's why. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
So
and I feel your passion, Abigail. I wanted to come back. I said earlier that I would come back to the issue of feminism. And I'm not a feminist. Excuse me, sorry. I'm not a feminist, right? And I'm not sorry about not being a feminist. Now, what's the difference, in your point of view, between proper girl-child right, woman's right, and feminism?
Great. In fact, this was a challenge when I started, because I didn't want to, okay, let's start. Feminism, the whole concept, so to simplify it. I think, well, equality, it was supposed to be like gender equality, equity, just, getting everyone on the same page, So, for example, there are pay gaps in, between men and female, so you should earn, if I can do a job, you should be able to pay me.
Yeah.
It started, that's the whole idea, just, and then the women's rights in that sense. But in recent times, the narrative has changed. That's why I now withdrew, because when I started trying to reach out to these girls, I didn't want people to misunderstand the idea. And that was when God opened my eyes to see that is why I called you to mentor, groom them. So the UN may not be, sometimes it may be conflicting, the whole agenda of the programs may be conflicting. That is why I say, for example, I'm meant to understand that if I'm mentoring girls, I should also mentor girls that are transgender, girls that have become boys. Boys that have become girls. Yes. And I wouldn't do that because I have a foundation. I have a direction. In fact, the Bible says in Titus, let the older women teach the younger. So I have a direction.
I have a purpose for this.
I have a purpose, So feminism has been twisted.
I think so.
So I had to remove myself. I don't even understand, because it's now like a battle between the sexes. Then you hear men has come, all those kind of things. No, like I said, men should be allies. We should be talking together. We should be collaborating to see how we can help stop them from hookup, stop them from getting pregnant and staying at home. It's not a matter of, because God has already put it there. The man is head, the woman is supposed to be a helpmate.
It's not us versus them, is it?
That is not the agenda.
It is not us versus them. It is we together bringing about the purpose of God. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so very much for coming, Abigail. I wish we had so much time because I still have so many questions. The work you're doing is very important. So keep at it.
Thank you so much.
Keep going, keep winning, keep conquering.
Thank you.
Abigail Ekotiene, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so
God bless
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I will take questions from our studio audience and those that you send in on any topic that you want us to discuss. Back in a moment. Welcome back to the Moment Show with Pastor FUNKE. And we're moving straight to the Ask segment, where you get to hear my take. And as always, to help us, over to you, Ola.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Beautiful audience. Good to have you today. Interesting conversation we had about the girl child, particularly a blessing for me that has a very little girl.
Yes.
Today we have, I think, about 3 questions from the audience.
Awesome.
So we'll start from Victor. So Victor, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Is it right to play cartoons for children? Like, I play cartoon for my daughter. I just use it to engage her. But at some point, I notice whenever I'm operating my phone, she wants to peep in. She wants to drag the phone with me. So I stopped. But is it right? Because I notice a lot of parents do that.
Yes. Absolutely wonderful question. And I see, of course, when I was raising my kids, who, one of them is closer to 30, we didn't have phones like that kids could have. I think there is nothing wrong with playing cartoons per se, but what kind, right? So the thing is, do you have cartoons that have good content? The challenge with giving them phones is that you're not watching with them because the phone is small. So when you give them, and those kids get, in fact, sometimes just by mistake, they press your phone, they go into another site that you did not intend. And then some of these cartoons now that they make, they have all kinds of things in them. They have devil worship, they have homosexuality, promoting homosexuality, promoting all manner of things. So whatever you cannot watch with your children so that you can ascertain the content, please don't give it to them.
Thank you, Ma. I have 3 daughters. The first one is focused more on her academics. The little time she will have for herself, she would rather use it on writing stories, books.
Awesome.
But the second one, she's more of, she prefers the social life, you know. Her little time, she prefers to go on TikTok or Instagram. Leave your phone for a moment and you're not there. She picks your phone and quickly she's on. She'll do her thing there. While the third one has a balanced life. My studies, social life. Now, how do I get the first one and the second one to balance up?
To balance up. Very, very good question. Very, very good question. And, you know, first of all, recognize these people are different.
Yeah.
Even children from the same parents are going to have different personalities. I think that what you want to do is spend time with each and speak to them. One of the things that we parents don't do very well, and sometimes, to be honest, we have so much that we're trying to grapple with, you know, making money, this, and more often than necessary, we spend very little time with our children. And when we're doing with them, we're only correcting and criticizing. What we need to do is spend time to learn and understand, right? The more your children can talk to you, the better you are. And it's in those what I look for, my own experience, I always look for down times when their guards are not up. That's when I try. So, you know, I don't immediately, hey, you know, I try to, I'll kind of let it go, I'll write it down, and I keep saying, Lord, help me to remember this. Those times when they come to me and we're having a subtle conversation, then I'll bring it up. You know, you know, this thing that you didn't do, you know. If it's something I needed to attend immediately, I would. So you need to speak to them. But please, never say this. Never say, why can't you be like this? You've lost them. Never say that. What you just want to do is, well, you know, why don't, if the studios won, well, why don't we go out and have fun? Let's just, the 3 of us, go out. Let's go and do some social. The one that is on the opposite side, on the day, honey, why don't you come? Let me help you. What challenges do you have with school? Can I help you? So without you opening your mouth to condemn them, you're simply doing what? You're offering yourself to help them.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you to all our audience and those who've asked questions. And if you're at home and you've been listening and watching us, I'm sure you've gotten something out of this. Our children are valuable. They are gifts, absolute treasures from God. So we must do what is necessary to help them. All right. Alas, it's time for me to draw the curtain on today's show. But before I go, I want to thank our guest again for coming. And also, we have a special minstrel in the house. As you know, we always close the Moment Show with a time of worship. And to bless us today is Minister Favor Joseph Caleb, who is a passionate worshiper and a lover of God. She's a praise worship leader, she's a songwriter, and she's devoted to blessing and worshiping the name of God. And she's going to be here to bless us. So thank you again for watching. Thank you to our audience for coming. I'll see you again next time by God's grace. And have a beautiful time. Please listen to Minister Favor Joseph Caleb. God bless you. Bye for now. This is Pastor FUNKE signing off.
Be has